Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about quadratic graphs and their functions, part 1. So let's start by putting our name on the paper and date it so that we don't ever lose that and wonder, where did my work go? So we're looking at f of x equals x squared. And this is our parent function. That's right, parent function for all quadratics in the parabola family. So when you're asked about what is the quadratic parent function, it is f of x equals x squared. And in that parent function, in all quadratics, there are lots of parts that we're going to discuss today. One of them is called the vertex. The vertex is going to be the point that's in the very middle of your quadratic, of your parabola. It'll be at your highest or lowest. Point. And it comes usually in an XY, well, it can be an XY coordinate point, or it can be listed as an HK coordinate point that we will discuss later on. We're going to have an axis of symmetry. So let's talk about the axis of symmetry. I usually refer to this as the AOS. And this is a line. It is always an x equals line. And it's going to be x equals some number. That number comes from negative b over 2 times a. We're going to talk about where a, b, and c come from. Let's see. We're going to have a y-intercept. The y-intercept can be written as a coordinate point or just as a number. And that coordinate point is always going to be at 0, c, whatever c is. So now we have a reference to an A, a B, and a C. And finally, we're going to have X-intercepts. Those have 3 other names. They could be zeros, roots, or solutions. They are always some number where the graph crosses the x-axis, 0. There might be 2 of them, there might be 1 of them, and there might not be any of them. It just depends on the coordinates that we have for our particular quadratic. So we've made reference to A, B, and C. Let's go find out where they belong. In the standard form of a quadratic, what we would see is a setup such as f of x equals a times x squared plus b times x plus C. And this is where the A, B, and C come from for our axis of symmetry and for our y-intercept that we're going to have to find. We're going to talk more about H and K later on. All right, so using our given function, the parent function, let's go into our graphing calculator and get a table so that we can accurately plot these points. We remember that each table always has X on the left column and Y on the right column. And we want to build a symmetry around our points. So let's turn on our calculator. Always go to a new document. New documents help very, very much. Push enter. It asks you to save. The answer is no, never. And we are going to find a graph. So here on our graph, where it is blinking, we're going to type in our function x squared. So down at the bottom of your keyboard, you have your letter X, so we push it. And then here next to the number 4 is a squared button, and that squared will just make whatever term you had pushed previously now squared. So that gives us the function that we need, matching the one on our paper. And let's push enter. And that's the graph that we're going to build. It's a nice U-shaped parabola. In order to get the table of coordinate points, let's push Control, CTL, and the letter T, T for table. And there we are. So now if you arrow up just a few spaces, we see -2 and 4, -1 and 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 4. So those will make some very nice symmetric points for our table. -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. Okay, let's go plot these. X-axis, Y-axis. So let's go left 2 and up 4 from our center origin. Left 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Point. Next point, -1, +1. Left 1, up 1. Left 1, up 1. From the center, from the origin. Third row, third point, 0, 0, right there at the origin. Let's go to the right, +1, +1. Right 1, up 1. And then finally, to the right 2, up 4. Again, from the center, go right 2, up 4. And here is the parent function of our parabola of all quadratics. All right. Okay, so now that we have addressed what the parent function looks like, let's move forward and move into this next section. We are going to identify the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and we're going to graph each of these. We're going to use our calculator a lot. We're going to tell whether the vertex has a maximum or a minimum, and then we're going to identify that maximum or minimum value of the function, and then what is the y-intercept, and state the zeros of the function. So let's underline the things that we need. A vertex, axis of symmetry. Do we have a maximum or a minimum? We have to identify those points. Let's see, we're going to find the y-intercept of the graph, and we're going to state the zeros of the function. We have a lot to go find. So let's write out our list of what we need so that we can then accurately answer the question in front of us. So we're asked for our vertex. We are asked for the axis of symmetry, the AOS. We want to know if our vertex is a maximum or a minimum. We'll circle one of those. we're going to find that maximum or minimum. We're going to find it has a very special location. We want the y-intercept, and we need the zeros. Okay. So let's go back to your graphing calculator. I have to wake him back up. He's going to sleep. So to get a new clean graph, if you will push Control Dock, it opens a new screen of options. Let's go down to the graphs, push 2, and we're going to type in this equation that they have given to us. We already have the f2 of x, so I don't need to type y, I don't need to type equals. Let's start with x squared plus 6x plus 5. Enter. All right. So to find our vertex, we can do that in a variety of ways. Using the graphing calculator, we'll push Menu, and let's go back for a moment, Escape. This is a valley. Since this is, your choice is either a maximum mountain or a minimum valley. Since this is a valley, I know that this is a minimum, so we'll circle minimum. From there, we can now analyze our graph. So if you push Menu, and you go down to Analyze, or push 6, it asks, what do we want to find? Well, I need a minimum. So let's push Enter. And we see our graph is blinking, and there's now a hand. So we push Enter one time, and then slide across our graph, and you'll see it shades, and it tells us a coordinate point. Push Enter. That coordinate point is my vertex. It is my lowest point on the parabola, on the quadratic. So now I know the answer to my vertex, -3, -4. That is its coordinate point. All right, without doing any work, the axis of symmetry cuts my parabola perfectly in half